Hello and welcome to PBCJ Presents, or weekly current affairs discussion series. It is here that we take a deep dive into matters affecting Jamaica land we love. I am Maya Chung. This week we are joined by Norman Washington, Grand President of the Jamaica Coffee Exporters Association, JCEA, and Managing Director of Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. Welcome to the show, sir. It is a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this interview.
Thank you, Maya, and welcome to our viewers as well, and a salute to our coffee farmers across the length and breadth of Jamaica.
I echo that salute, and I want to just get right into it. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the coffee sector at this particular time. Jamaican coffee is a brand, global brand. What I would want to ask is, what has gotten the stakeholders, the farmers, the farm families, and the entire nation, actually, both sides of the government of Jamaica? So we're not talking about the stewards, the Jamaica Labour Party. We're talking about People's National Party and JLP. There's this excitement. What's happening?
Yeah, well, we just concluded the 5th anniversary of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Day. And that came about 5 years ago as a part of the partnership between Jamaica and Japan. So our first shipment of coffee left Kingston in 1953. It was shipped by Kibamon of Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. By 1967, the 9th of January, the largest shipment subsequent to that shipment left the port of Kingston to Tokyo. And around about 2018, the All Association of Japanese Importers of Jamaican Coffee approached both the Coffee Industry Board and the JCA and said we need to recognize the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee after 50 years of partnership between Jamaica and Japan. And so the Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee Day came about as a part of this celebration under the theme, the King of Coffees and the Winning Beans. So on the 9th of January, we had a lot of celebration around Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Day, which is really celebrating the work of our 5,000 coffee farmers, our farm families, members of the JCA who are purchasers, farmers and processors and exporters, JACRA, who are also partners in the celebration, JAMPRO, who came on board 5 years ago, and of course the Tourist Board in the launching of the Coffee Festival.
Which happens in March. And I'm going to stop you there, because what happened is I was lucky enough to be at the launch of the Coffee Festival, and what I'm sensing is not just we are a great country for launching this very good product, but there is a lot of money to be made, there's a lot of GDP activity to be stimulated, and there's a lot of evolution. Almost, I'm not good at math, but I heard figures like we are going to be trying to move, beginning in 2023, over the next 5 years, our output of 270,000 boxes annually to 450 annually. Isn't that kind of like almost 100%?
Yeah.
Why we said little and tallow and fabulous?
So what we're doing now is engaging the farmers, that we mean in the JCA, the Ministry of Agriculture, and JACRA. And we have just concluded a study, a proposal that we have presented to Minister Charles, calling for an injection of about $1 billion over 5 years into the coffee sector, which is $200 million per annum. And we're saying make it a part of the production incentive program, but
which
specifically,
it is not
now, but specifically for coffee to do what? Provide seedlings to our farmers, maybe 3 million seedlings, fertilization, other inputs such as chemicals, training, and just build production capacity within the coffee sector. What that will do, Maya, is to move the current levels of production from 270,000 boxes per annum to 450,000 boxes over 4 years.
Let me tell you this.
And
Wait, I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to convince the Minister of Agriculture to do that, there had to be some sort of basis of that. I gather that despite the pandemic, coffee sustained and maintained and didn't drop a beat. The sector didn't drop a beat. Persons were able to earn a living. In fact, persons were able to thrive during that period. And this is how you made that kind of case, because if I'm not incorrect.
Right. During the pandemic, there was a slight decline. There was a big decline in demand for coffee because the country shut down. There were no tourists. But once we reopened the country, then you find that the local demand started to increase. But the demand across the green bean markets were sustainable. Japan was buying 70%, USA 20%, Europe and the rest of the
During
world.
2020 and
10%.
COVID?
Yes, we were. Good. But the prices at that time was somewhere in the region of about $5,000 to $6,000 a box. And what is now being paid to the farmers, it has jumped to about $10,000 a box, which has motivated the farmers. But let me say that the market is not aggressive in moving the incremental end price to correspond with this big increase. And therefore, what we have to do, we have to be sort of massaging the market to try and let them know that it is important that over time we get a price that can maintain the farmers getting a price that will allow them to stay in coffee. But what the 1 billion will do, Maya, is also to move the productivity from 30 boxes per acre, which is very low, to 60, 70, 90, and 100 boxes per acre over that period of time.
On that point, I want to take a break. We want to come back to that. You are watching PBCJ Presents. Our guest today is Norman Washington Grant, President of the JCEA. Stay with us. We'll have more when we come back. Welcome back to PBCJ Presents. I'm Maya Chung. My guest is Norman Washington Grant, Managing Director of the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. Sir, before we went to the break, we were talking about moving boxes in terms of production. Start me back from there so I can follow the train. Where we were at 30 boxes per month.
30 boxes per acre. So when a farmer grows JBM coffee, when he reaps, he gets 30 boxes per acre. But this is because he's not fertilizing on time, he's not doing all the good agricultural practices on time. We're saying bring that injection in now. Provide fertilizer, replace old plants, provide seedlings to the farmers, and we're saying about 3 million seedlings, and training capacity. Those actions will help to move the productivity from the 30 boxes up to about 90 boxes, hence moving the overall production from 270,000 boxes
to that 450. We're aiming for over 5 years.
Here are the numbers now, Moya. It is going to move the revenues generated from coffee from the average 25 million US that has been experienced over the last 15 years, right, to somewhere in the region of 50 million US per annum. And if you project a 10% incremental growth over 10 years, you're going to be having 100 million
That's what
US
I saw.
dollars.
It sounds
generating,
awesome.
Yes, that is game changing. And we're saying that it is going to have multiplier effect. One, we're going to expand the revenue base. We're going to expand the markets. So we consolidate in Japan, we grow in the USA, we grow in Europe and China, and we go into all of these emerging markets. We're going to create more jobs. We're going to improve the rural infrastructure in these coffee growing areas, such as the roads, the irrigation,
Everything would have
research
to be
and
increased
development.
and
It is a
developed.
game changer.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am placing it on the table, and all of us in the Jamaica Coffee Exporters Association believe that the coffee industry can drive economic growth within the agricultural sector and help the agricultural sector to contribute not 7% to GDP, but double digits without taking into consideration the manufacturing aspect of it. So we believe that the investment in coffee is a big one, and the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Day, the stakeholders within coffee, and when I say the stakeholders, we are talking about the JCEA, JACRA, JAMPRO. JAMPRO has spearheaded the sourcing of funding through JSIF to do a market survey to say where are we positioned
Global
Blue
market
Mountain
survey.
and I Mountain, because we're not only focusing on Blue Mountain, we're also looking at I Mountain as well, because we are importing coffee to blend, and therefore the growth in the production of coffee is also going to lead to import substitution. Grow what we eat and eat what we grow. So I think
What's the difference between High Mountain and Blue Mountain?
well, the Jamaica Blue Mountain
Initiate.
coffee is grown in a particular geographic location in 3 parishes: St. Andrew, Portland, and St. Thomas. These are areas that are defined by law, and coffee that is grown in those regions have, well sought after characteristics.
Right.
High Mountain is now outside of the Blue Mountain regions, like in St. James, in Clarendon, but it is grown at high elevation. So the quality of that Jamaica,
so it presents with a different quality and aspect.
but it's still a great coffee.
No, man,
Yes.
I expect nothing less
still
from
a
Jamaica.
great coffee.
Yes.
So we're saying that we need to do 2 things: grow our Jamaica Blue Mountain, export, because there's a big demand. Grow our I Mountain and see if we can grow it in large volumes where we have economies of scale, right? Where we can look to bring down the overall average cost per pound so we can reduce over time imports. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's a long game.
Because
this is a long
when you
game.
plant a coffee plant now, it takes 5 years, 3 to 5 years to come into production. So it's really, a long investment period.
Begs the question for me, because I've been listening to the information, and I'm somebody who covers various events. What was the catalyst for this thrust? Because if we're doing it now, a lot of people watching PBCJ Presents will say, we could have been doing this before. Why weren't we? Is that a fair question?
No. Well, the truth is that in 2006-07, we peaked with over 500,000 boxes of coffee. The price was a lot lower then, and therefore you find the Japanese were buying a lot more. USA was just coming in to be a emerging growth market, as well as Europe. But as soon as the price of the coffee increased, then the demand waffles a bit. And therefore the price to the grower fell. You remember there are a lot of farmers that just went out of coffee because it went down to $3,000 a box.
Yeah.
It's now going back up, and what we want to do is to ensure that there is an energetic demand for the coffee at a particular price. Because even though Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is an exciting coffee, there is a particular price at which you have to pitch it.
It's like Rolls Royce.
Yes.
I mean, everything can cost
Yes.
$1.
Yes.
And I wanted to find out, you're watching things for the past half a decade. You're seeing these Starbucks global chain, right?
Yes.
We make coffee. Coffee is like a status symbol. I heard at the launch, we're looking to pitch ourselves now as a luxury coffee nation. I've never heard that previously. I don't know if I missed it, but I've been reporting on it a lot. Is it new? What impact? There's work, jobs created. People are training to be baristas in foreign countries who deal specifically with making coffee. How does this impact what we are doing and the thrust of the 2023 moving forward?
Yeah. Well, we're not only focusing on shipping out green coffee. A lot of the market is structured in terms of Japan, the USA, where they buy the green coffee and roast it under their brand.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to break there. I am asking our viewership to stay with us. We come back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back. You're watching PBCJ Presents. My name is Maya Chung, and my guest today is Norman Washington Grant, Managing Director of Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. Sir, we were talking about the green bean not being the only thing that the sector players are looking at. Continue for me.
Yeah, so the green bean is one aspect of the market, but we're also focusing on value added. For example, a number of our members are roasters, and we supply coffee to the hotels, the supermarkets, the inbound shops in Oterius, Montego Bay, and Negril on the cruise ship pier, etc. And the objective, working with the Ministry of Tourism, we want every single visitor that comes to Jamaica, they leave with a pack of Jamaica Blue Mountain. So that is creating demand in our local space. We're also looking at having coffee shops. You know, there are a number of our members are having coffee shops.
Cafe Blue.
Cafe Blue, Jablum Coffee House. And we have other members who are supplying to existing coffee shops. So the strategy is very, very dynamic. What we want to do is to grow the production, ensure that there's always a demand for the growth in production at a particular price, to make sure that the farmer is competitive, the farmer is profitable, and we're growing production and productivity in a sustainable way. You know, one of our companies, the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory, for example, this year, we will celebrate 100 anniversary.
Congrats.
Thank you. Company formed in 1923. In fact, the first shipment went from Jamaica to Japan by Kibamon and Mavis Bank in 1953. So it will be our 100th anniversary as a company and the 70th anniversary of that first shipment going into Japan.
It's not yesterday we're doing this. We're doing this for a while.
No, we're doing this for a while. So we're rolling out the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. We're going to be rolling out a number of activities to celebrate that event over 12 months. So we start in March of 2023 to March of 2024. We're going to be recognizing our farmers, recognizing our customers, recognizing our markets, rebranding our products. You know, I was talking to our chairman.
Sounds like fun and excitement,
Honorable Michael Leachin, and he was saying, Norman, you know, this 100th anniversary is the boss out here.
And so, when he gets involved in things, they go wild. You and him make a good combo.
Yeah, sure. Boss out for our farmers. We really want to get our farmers up to high productivity, making money from coffee, and that we consistently present a brand that is the king of coffees. Jacro plays a critical role in the whole issue of guaranteeing the brand, checking the quality, and ensuring that the quality of the coffee that leaves Jamaica is nothing but the best. We have to deal with larceny, because what has happened is that with the increase in the price of coffee, they are now stealing more coffee. And there are other things within the framework that we'll have to fix. We'll have to
give me one other important one other than larceny.
The roads. The transporting the products. Is very, very difficult, and we really think that more money needs to be invested in repairing our farm roads, our rural roads network, to really reduce the operating costs the overall operating cost for the Jamaica Blue Mountain, for the Jamaican coffee farmers, for all farmers. In fact, we also have to deal with research and development.
Yes.
You know, the issue of leaf rust, timely involvement,
the various
timely
things.
intervention. We have to look where we can have some subsidy or some assistance for the fertilizer. And that is why we're saying if the government is able to inject $200 million per annum, it's the same type of support that is given to other farmers, to, banana farmers, cassava farmers. All we're saying, bring the coffee sector within that framework of the production incentive program.
And the thing about after a 70-year run moving into a Mavis Bank celebrating 100 years, you do actually have enough material to make a good case for that injection to be made, would you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Want to prove yourself over and over, yeah.
And coffee has been a critical crop in the agricultural sector. It has supported 5,000 farmers, 102,000 farm families. There are 14 processors who are now members of the Jamaica Coffee Exporters Association. There are others who have gotten license from JACRA who are not members of the association. So the coffee sector is really creating a lot of value for the Jamaican economy.
Development.
And lot of development, lot of transformation. Look at the coffee festival that comes, around in March, on March 25th. It also gives you an opportunity to promote your brand, tourism, ecotourism. One of the things that we're promoting too is farm tours. People are coming into Jamaica.
Like vineyard tours, that would be so cool.
People are coming to Jamaica to tour the farms, to tour the factory.
That's a great idea.
And that is revenue again. So I'm saying every investment that is made in coffee, I think it's a big returns. And that is why, I'm saying to both, Minister Charles and, our finance minister, Minister Clark, let's find that $1 billion, 200 million, right? And let's inject it in coffee. And let us support the overall coffee industry and the coffee farmers. Get the production up. We're consistent with our quality. And guess what? Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee will be unbeatable, will continue to be unbeatable.
Can I say that
forward.
This is an excellent movement forward? We need a lot of diversity in how we feed our economy. At the launch, Minister of Agriculture, Perennial Charles, he seemed very excited and very pro what you have been saying here, like it's almost a done deal, but I don't want to say it's a done deal because I'm not the minister, but I think we stand to, glean great things ahead. It has been a pleasure having you. Norman Washington Grant has been my guest, president of the Jamaica Coffee Exporters Association, managing director of the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory. My name is Maya Chung. Thanks for making it PBCJ Presents. Join us next week for more in this vein on this station.